Also, when you're working on a case, you may incur costs. But if you don't mind, I'd like to just follow this through into billing, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to add costs to a matter and how to bill for those costs. Okay? But first things, we're just working with the milestones, and I want to show you what goes over into billing, because there is a bit in billing that has to be set up. Okay? Now, you know, I'm hoping everybody in attendance today, they need to do that as part of their job, so we're not boring anybody, but otherwise you're just going to be learning, you know, how this program works, how it moves from one section to another. So obviously this little green circle up here that looks like, that's supposed to be an A in the middle of it for Abacus, that's our icon. This is for billing and accounting. All right, I already have it open down at the bottom, so I'm just going to open it up. And now you can see big bold on the screen, they call it accounting. So the first part I call law, and this part I call accounting. Some people call it billing. Obviously it does billing and accounting, so don't let that confuse you. Now, you know, I'm kind of stepping back a little bit because I don't want to lose anybody in the process here. A client comes in and the client signs the contract. Well, that is where in Abacus Law, where we just were, the intake form happens and all the information is put into the Abacus Law program. And the basics are pushed over into billing. That part's kind of automatic. I'm not exactly sure who does intake forms yet, but those people, hopefully you've got that training this week from Ben. I'm picking up from that point. So after the contract's signed and the milestones and the workflows are set up, somebody has to be responsible to follow through into the accounting and billing side of the program. So even maybe before a workflow is done or a milestone is done, somebody's got to come over and set up the matter information as far as the details of what's on the contract. So what we do in the accounting and billing program is we open up matters. Okay? Now I use the menus because there's really not enough of these little icons to tell us what we're doing. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Everything we do is coming from a drop-down menu. So under matters, we're going to the very first option of matters. And this is where all the little details are. This is where we choose the proper trust account. This is where we set up our payment schedules. So what you do, of course, we have another matter browse here to look them up. And our loan mod guy today is Ben Bradley. So I just start typing in his name and the system will narrow it down to be just his case, and I double click to open it up. Now, this first screen is pretty much what got sent over from Abacus Law when the intake form was finished. This automatically comes over, okay? So nobody has to do this part. But what you do need to do, because I'm not quite sure, I know you guys have lots, well, you've got 6 or 7 trust and escrow accounts. There's an item right here on the left side of the screen called default trust account. Okay, now your system will be set up with one default, and I believe that's going to be the New York main trust account. But if for some reason there's another trust account being used for this specific matter, you can find it on the list. Okay, this is called a chart of accounts. I don't want to get too bogged down by accounting terms. They really don't bother us right now. But you can see in here we've got all kinds of checking accounts set up for you guys. So what you want to do is find the appropriate trust account or escrow account, in the case may be, to assign to the matter. And what happens is if we assign it, and I'm just going to stick with the one I know because this kind of is going to work with our payment exchange, okay, our ACH stuff, because this will come into play there, so that's why I'm pointing it out, because all the money goes into the trust account, so I've been told. So you pick your appropriate trust account or escrow account to put in place. Now, whenever you move around the program and you go into trust to make a deposit, it's going to know when you put in your matter which trust account to pull up automatically. So this is a good thing. It's going to help us not have to get into those crazy details of what the heck does that mean. This is not a bank account number, by the way. We've kind of put in a few digits of the bank account number so the accounting people can keep these straight. But this is what Abacus calls a chart of account number. Okay, we have to use them. There's no way around it, believe me. So that is going to follow you wherever you go when you talk about or open up and choose this specific matter. It's going to pull the exact trust account that goes with it. Okay, so the rest of this pretty much is automatically filled out. I tried to put in a brief description of what this matter is about. Okay, so this will show up on the bill, but we've got room for more things to show up on the bill on our next tab. Okay, the billing tab. Now this is where it gets good. Okay, I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to call this my triangle, my billing triangle, because there's really 3 details here that we need to make sure we set up correctly. You all, you have you have many offices and lots of different kinds of law that you practice. So whoever's in charge of this case has to be sure that these 3 details are set up correctly, because this definitely influences whether they have a payment schedule, or if it's family law, that might be billed hourly, okay, or just a regular flat fee case and not a payment schedule. Abacus can bill multiple ways, and this is how we tell it which way we want to go. The top point here of my triangle is the billing format code. Now, all we have to know is this, and we have options right here, okay, is this a scheduled flat fee? That's the one for payment schedules. Okay, is this a one-time flat fee, or is this an hourly case? Okay, is there a question here?
Guys, put your phones on mute.
Sorry, you can talk to me. I just don't want to miss any questions, and I'm not that good with Spanish, so I can't tell if it's a question about the program or not. Anyway, so we pick the appropriate billing format code that goes with this matter, that goes with this case, and we put that in place. The FFS, here, let me change this so you can see. If I just put hourly, well, I kind of have to go out and come back in. Because I want you to see it actually happen. So matters, pull up our guy. There he is. Double click, opens him up. And we're going over to the billing tab. Okay, so we have a payment schedule tab right here. That's because we chose scheduled flat fee, or FFS. Okay, that means we're going to have a payment schedule. If we have a different kind of, okay, I haven't put one in, so I'm going to say yes. If we have a different kind of case, what will happen is that we can change the billing format code, and that payment schedule tab goes away. So you really want to make sure you pull the proper thing here. So I'm going to put it back in. Now, what goes with this to make that appear is, first of all, we choose the billing mode of flat fee. So FFS goes with flat fee, and we put in the full amount of the flat fee. So I'm going to use the case here, the example of $5,500, and no dollar signs, no commas. Abacus will do that. And our billing frequency is payment schedule, and those 3 combined is what makes that payment schedule tab show up. So if you can't see that tab, it's because we don't have those 3 picked out or working together. Okay? Now, here in the middle is where there's lots of room to put other information. Okay, the flat fee amount is such and such. The client is responsible for all extra expenses. Additional monthly fees of blah, blah, blah will take place after whatever. So you can put in here any of those details for each specific case, and this appears right. Whoa. Okay, this appears straight up underneath the matter description on the face of the bill. So it's going to go right under this, the rest of that information. So that's a good spot for that stuff. This has nothing to do with what's being billed. This is just text. Okay, so we don't have to worry about changing this. If we change the amount, well, if you change the amount of the bill, you probably want to change this because he's going to be reading this to know a little bit more about his case. Let's get to the payment schedule. Okay, so we come here, And now we're going to set up how we want this $5,500 paid. Up here is our total flat fee. Over here is our first due date. Okay, the one that Margarita sent me, we're going to start with May 1st. Okay, I'm going to run this by, instead of installment amount, since they're all different, I'm going to just say the number of installments altogether, because I don't want to do the amount, because then I have to change each one of them. This, I can set them up as I please. So calculate by number of installments, and I'm looking, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to put a 6 in here. Okay. And how often are we going to bill this client or this matter? Everything here is a matter. So I'm coming down to say monthly, and we click on add. Okay. Now it's trying to do it equally, so it's going to go through this, but we can fix that. Okay. So now we just take the actual first payment and put in how much it is. So I want to edit this because I want it to be my dollars, not the dollars here. Let's see, it's probably going to bark at me because this is going to make it higher than our overall flat fee. Okay, let's see, we have to hit modify. Okay, so wait a minute. If it's doing that, we just need to get rid of one of these. We will edit this and make this 0 so that we can come up here, make it 0 so it will not yell at us, because it's trying to automatically do that. Now, what I can do is go ahead, take this first one, hit edit, put in $1,500, because this is actually the initial retainer. Now, we want to get this done first because the trust account is assigned here as well. And then after we get this set up, we're going to go put in the fact that they are paying or charging their credit card or doing an ACH exchange for the $1,500. But we want to put it in here as well. It's all part of it. So there's my first one. Here's my second one. Okay, 700. And I hit modify and it saves it. Then I go to the next one, hit edit, put in the amount there. That is 300. Okay, modify. Next one, edit. How much do we have here? 1,000. Okay, modify, hit edit. Oops, choose this one. We're almost there. Edit. This one is 500. You can see it's keeping up with me over on the right here as to the total, so I know where I am. And last but not least is the last payment of 1,500. Okay, and what am I? I'm here. I didn't click on the right thing. Edit. I can't talk and type apparently. 1,500. And modify. Okay, so all of this together adds up to our 55. We're in balance here. That's excellent. And now I've let it kind of go by here with leaving it on the first of the month. I could have changed that to be the end of June, the end of July, whatever I wanted here. So you can play with the date at the same time. I was just trying to quickly get this in. So now that's basically everything you need on this matter maintenance. So you can see how important this is. On the general tab, we pick the trust account. On the billing tab, we pick our triangle for the format, the billing mode, and the frequency. We also can put in our billing remarks and our payment schedule. Okay, so let's hit save. All righty. Now, the next natural thing to do would be to go put in that trust money. That initial $1,500 is going into our trust account. Now, one thing I want to make sure everybody remembers, if they remember nothing else today, we need to remember that trust is its own island, okay? Anything we do for trust has to be done under this menu. Yes, we assigned the proper trust account on the matter screen, but I'm talking about putting money in or taking money out. During the billing process, we're going to take money out, and we're going to come under trust to get that done, okay? So we don't go in accounts payable to write a check from trust. No, never. We get in our boat, and it's a nice day, and we go out to our island to do our trust transfers to our trust deposits. So we're going to click on trust deposits. Now, this is the first posting function that we're going to see. Abacus Accounting and Billing has 6 altogether. So you're going to get real used to these buttons over here on the right. They're always, the first 5 steps here are always the same in a posting situation. All right? So we add things into the bucket. I call these buckets because it's an easy, I mean, posting is such a weird word. What the heck does posting mean? You know, like putting something in the mailbox, and the people these days don't even know what a mailbox is probably, except for their computer. But I try to equate it to, this is like a bucket, and when we post, the bucket dumps over and everything in the bucket goes out. Now in Abacus, when it comes out of the bucket, it goes to many different places. Okay, it's going into the trust checkbook. It's going into the trust bank rec. It's going into the trust matters. All right, it is actually going onto your balance sheet. Okay, so it goes lots of places. So we get a lot done by posting. But to make posting happen, we've got to put something in the bucket. Then we can look and see what's in our bucket. And we need to change something, we can. If we want to delete something that's in the bucket, because I just was having a bad day and I put something in there I shouldn't have, we can delete it. There's a print button to kind of take a picture of what's in the bucket, but Abacus does this for us. You're always going to have those reports over here of every single posting in all 6 places in the program will be in here, so we can go back and look at them if we need to. So I don't worry about the print button anymore. But we got to put something in before we can actually post. Post is our ultimate goal. So let's see what we have to do. We're going to click on Add. We're going to choose our matter. Okay, this was somehow this got up here. I'm going to take this guy out. This little guy up here is called the speed bar. If you were just working on one case all day, you could put it in there and then it would bring them up for everything you're going to do, but I don't want to do that. I want to go choose my own. So let's go get Ben. Okay, because Ben paid us $1,500 to go into his trust account, or actually he's putting it on his credit card. Okay, so when we pick Ben, his trust account automatically comes up like I promised. Okay, when we turn on the APX, the Abacus Payment Exchange, this is how Abacus is going to go get this money. Right now I don't have it set up. Okay, but when we do, by putting a check mark in this box, when we post, that goes out and tells Abacus, hey, go charge this gentleman's credit card that we have on file, or do an ACH transfer and take the money out of his account and put it into our trust account. So this is what makes it happen. Now I'm going to click it again because this is telling me I don't have it set up yet. But you will not get this message when you actually have it up and running. So you no longer have to run a card. Okay, Abacus will be running the card for you and putting the money directly into your bank account. All right, that's why this is so important. Then we come over here, and how much is it? Well, my example says $1,500, and now there's a special option here they've fixed up that if you press the F5 button, you can pick which way they paid. You don't have to type forever and always. I'm going to say credit card just for choice here. You can add to this. I know you guys have lots of information you want to put in. So we're going to, once we get those few details done, that's all you have to do to get something into our bucket. So we say done, and it's in the bucket. Now, when we're ready, we're going to post this. But if this person's standing in front of you, okay, I'm not sure how many people you all see every day as far as getting this stuff done, or if somebody, you know, you're just in the back processing all this stuff. But if they're standing there and they want a receipt, this is the time to print it. Print receipt, it actually comes up on our screen so we can see what it looks like. It's not real fancy, but it does the job. Here's our little print button up here with the little icon, and that will give the gentleman a receipt. You have to do it while it's in the bucket. Once we dump the bucket over or hit post, we can no longer get that receipt. There is the option for a deposit slip. Okay? But you guys have such volume, and I know that these things automatically are going to be happening if it's ACH or credit card, so deposit slips are kind of going to be a thing of the past, except for those clients that actually pay with a check or with cash. Okay, if any of that happens, you could use a deposit slip, but you've got to print it before you dump the bucket out. Now, when you go to post this, it's going to ask you about the date. And for our accounting folks today, you know how important this is, especially since Abacus is going to go get it and put it in your bank account. Okay, we want to make sure we've got the right date up here. This is the message that goes with this date, and I wish they would not ever allow you to turn this off because I love this message. I really think it will help us remember what the heck we're doing, especially when we're new. We don't know these screens. What the heck? I'm doing good just to find trust. All right, so this is just saying, is this deposit date the actual date this money's going into the bank account? If it's not, but if you guys' situation, I think it will be, because you'll be posting when APX gets set up and it will directly be going into the bank account. I don't think you're going to wait a week to put it in. But if a contract gets pushed aside somewhere and you don't get to it for a week, you know, what are we going to do? So we got to pay attention to the date. If it's wrong, you say no, and you can change the date. Then you hit post again. And when you say yes, that's what makes it happen. Now, if I had had his credit card or his ACH information set up, right now Abacus will be going out and getting the money and putting it into your trust account. I'm not exactly sure of the terms of how long it takes Abacus to do it, but I know it's pretty fast. I think it's within a day, maybe two. All right? But I don't want to open my big fat mouth, although I already did. And of course, we'll get that information from Ryan with the APX stuff. Speaking of which, okay, just so you know, over under File, under Setup, and this is probably just one person's job, not who the lucky duck is, but in Company Preferences, that's where our APX stuff is set up, under this tab over here called Credit Card. Okay? All right, right now it says none. Let's see if I can make it. Mine, of course, is a sample database, so this is not real. Okay, so when we choose APX, Abacus Payment Exchange, okay, Abacus takes any of the credit cards or ACH, all right, the main operating account, and we have to add a trust account, okay, all right, okay, that's not set up yet. I was hoping I could do it, but not quite yet. Okay, but one person will set this up, and then you will be able to, when you come into the program, I hate trying to envision invisible things, but when you're at your matter and you're doing all that other stuff like setting up their payment schedule and their trust account, there will also be a credit card info tab here, and that's where you're going to put in the client's info as far as you know, their real thing or their ACH info. It's invisible right now, but I promise that's where it's going to be. It's with all the other matter stuff. So as long as we can get to this screen and you can get to these tabs, you're doing good. Whew. Okay. So that was setting up a loan modification. Let's go back now and talk about adding costs. Okay. Now, for our accounting folks, before I get too far with cost, I want to make sure you understand, and I know we're not supposed to go into this too much today, but under accounts payables, where you're actually paying your bills, where you're actually paying those payables, okay? And when you do so, you guys are not going to be charging the matter, because that's what we're going to go do right now in Abacus Law. So the person who's incurring the cost, or however you all have divided up the workload, as far as client costs, will be responsible for putting in the cost, but the accounting people, the finance team, will still be paying the bills. Okay, they just will not be charging an actual matter because the people incurring it will be putting it in. So let's go back into Abacus Law. Okay, and I'm going to start from scratch here again. We go under a matter. Okay, and I go down to browse. I'm not even using the icons here because I'm just so used to having to do it my way in accounting that, what? I have a shortcut? I didn't know that. Ben's at the top of my list, or I could start typing him in here, but I actually found him, so we'll open it up. Okay, now we did our milestones, our workflows, and the other stuff that's happening on events. Now we're going to go do costs. Costs come through notes. Okay? So how do we add a cost? We come to the bottom and we click add. All right? This is where we put in our cost. There are no hours associated with the cost, of course. But this right here, this little almost empty invisible box, although it's called a note type, is where we get our cost code. So we look it up, and sooner or later you will have these memorized, I bet. Okay, let's see what we have here. Okay, let's say that we wanted to add a credit report. All right, I don't see a credit report in my list here. So the first thing, I think you guys are having a meeting on Monday or Tuesday to get all of these put into your system so that this note type list is accurate. We don't have any extra stuff like is here. So we're going to add it, and I'll just call it credit report. Okay. And now I get to type in what I want to call it. Well, I want to call it credit report. You only have to do this once, and then the code is in here for always. And we hit done. Okay. All right, we want to link it into accounting, so it says the same thing, and we don't have a credit. Yes, we do. There's a credit report right there. Like I say, this is stuff that is done once. I'm just kind of showing you that because somebody's going to do this, and then it will be here for always to use. So there I put in credit report. Okay, I'm responsible for this credit report, and I'm going to come in here and put in how much it is. Now, I think your team is going to set up text macros that have the dollar amount in it. Okay, I'm going to say it's $100. And the clue here is you have to have a dollar sign as the very first character in my cost. If I don't have that dollar sign right there, it's not going to know that this is a cost. That dollar sign says, hey, go put this as a cost on the client's bill. So I just do that, and I hit bill because I want it to go over to the bill. Am I sure? I think I'm sure. Okay, and this is a confirmation screen, and lovely, lovely. There we go. Now our cost has a dollar sign in front of it too, way out here where the events and the milestones had their dollar signs. Well, this is where the one for on the notes is. So we know this has been billed into the billing and accounting program. So this is how you enter costs. Okay, let's do one that's already in here so it's not quite as hard to understand. Let's do postage. I thought I saw postage in here yesterday. Yep, there's postage, so I can just pull it. So that's what you're normally going to do. You won't have to set them up. But here again, you want to put in the dollar sign. And let's charge $15.55 for postage. You click bill. Yes, I'm sure. And done. And now that postage is pushed over. Of course, the date you're doing it pops onto the screen. You can change that date if you wanted to. So that's all it takes to enter and push into the billing program a cost. All right, so back, and I hate to keep flipping like this, but I want to make sure everybody knows where you input the stuff. The milestones, the workflows, the costs are all done on the law side, and all the billing stuff's done on the billing and accounting side. So, okay, what happened to those costs? They said they pushed them over here. Well, this is where they come. And once again, we have to have a routine in place. When the costs come over into the accounting side, they're going to be in cost and adjustments. And you know what? Let me just start that over. They're under billing, and they're in the section called cost and adjustments. Okay? I have something in here from yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that so it's not confusing. Okay, these are the two we just did. All right, if I want to look closer at them, I can do this and click edit. Remember, that is actually another bucket we're looking at. So that's our second bucket of the day, our second posting of the day. This one's cost and adjustments. So the name kind of tells you this is where the costs come in. If, you know, somebody says, oh my gosh, I charged the wrong amount. Well, we haven't made it permanent yet, and even after this step, you can still edit things. You can still make changes. But let's first take it one step at a time. So it gets this far, and somebody says, oh, I put in the wrong amount. What do I do? Well, you can access it like I am right now, and you can go change it. Oh, I'm on the credit report. Well, let's say the credit report was wrong. Let's say it was supposed to be $150. Okay.
Terry?
Yes?
Can this only be adjusted from Abacus Accounting, or it can also be edited from Abacus Law?
That's a very good question. Thank you. I did not point that out yet. Let me just save my change here, and let's talk about that. If it has a dollar sign, okay, that means it's already been pushed over, and no, you cannot change it in law. You can change it, but it does not change it in the billing side. So we kind of have rules, all right? If you're just entering it and you put it in, okay, and you even got the dollar sign right, but you put in an amount and then you just saved it. You didn't bill it yet. You just saved it because you weren't quite sure. Well, since it's not billed, it doesn't have a dollar sign, I can edit that still, okay, and fix it and then send it over into accounting. But after I've clicked on that bill button, after I have the dollar sign next to it, I cannot change it here. From that point on, we have to move into billing and change it there. Okay, so we really should do it like you're saying. If I'm in law and I've entered it, but I have not billed it, I can change it. If I have billed it, I cannot change it. Okay, I'm going to leave it, well, I don't even know what I changed there. Let's just put it back here. Okay, I've already billed it, so, oh no, I'm adding a new one. All right, let's make this different. Let's make this 11.11. Oh, got to put my dollar sign in there. It's not going to go over as a cost. It will just be a note in the file. Okay, so once I do this and hit that done button, that's to put the dollar sign in front of it, and I cannot change it. I now have to go into billing. So I go into the billing program, and if it's still in my bucket, okay, because this is where it first comes, somebody has to actually push the post button to make this move into a permanent state on the client's bill. So if I did it in law and billed it over, and now there I see a mistake, I can edit it here, okay, and I can, there's the third one, I can edit it here and make changes here, and then I post it and it goes on to the client's bill. All right, let's make this 1212. Okay. All right. So I can fix it while it's in the bucket. You actually can leave the program with things in the buckets, any of the 6 buckets. And if I were to try to leave Abacus now, Abacus Accounting and Billing, you'll see, oh, it was supposed to tell me I had unposted items in that bucket. Maybe that message got turned off. Let's go back in. Okay, well, I'm going to have to ask where my message went, because I like that message telling me that I have unposted items in the different areas. You know, it should have said, oh, you've got items and costs and adjustments that haven't been posted. If I put in a trust deposit and not posted it, it should say, oh, you have items and trust deposits that have not been posted. And it's not wrong. All right, you're not doing something bad here. It's just that these have to be dumped out of the bucket. These have to be posted before they go on to a bill, before we can use trust money. It has to be, everything has to come out of buckets. So it's probably a good idea, whoever's in charge of posting, that does it right away, if that makes sense to do it then. To post these, you could either post them one at a time, but that's kind of a pain in the hiney. All right, or you can say select all and post them all together. Okay. Now, let's say, well, it got away from us. I thought I'd fixed it, and I haven't fixed it. Let's say there's still a mistake. Well, Abacus is pretty forgiving. Cost we can still fix. But where did it go now? Keeps, you know, appearing and disappearing in different places. This is the permanent home of where all these things end up. So under matters, this time we're going, instead of to matters with all the details for the matter itself, we're going into the financial part. which is the matter billing activity. Okay, now these come up like the matters do. You pick your particular matter because you only look at one at a time. I'm going to go get Ben. And sure enough, here are his 3 costs. So if something's wrong still in my cost, we're hoping it's right, but if it's wrong, you can see it has dates, it has the code, it has that these are all being charged to the client. We have not billed them yet. That's all this means. Don't let this get you befuddled here. And here is the description. Let's say something was wrong. I can either highlight it and delete it, which, boom, takes it out, it's gone. Or I can highlight it and open it and make changes. Oh, goodness. Thank goodness I caught this. It's supposed to be 1313. And, of course, after you make changes, or the date was wrong. You know, that was supposed to be on the 19th. Or the matter was wrong. Okay? Now, the thing we need to know is that changing items here does not change them in Abacus Law. You have to manually go in, open the item, and edit it in law. Okay, so let's go follow through with that. So this is supposed to be 1313. I hit done. And now it's 1313. This is what's going on the client's bill. This is part of the client's financial permanent record. Okay, so this is where we always come to see how much they owe and where we are in billing, except for payment schedules. They will get here as we process the bill. Okay, so this is where you always see your costs. So let's say, yep, I kind of, made a mistake and I didn't even catch it before posting, but I could still fix it in the accounting part, and I did. Now I want to make sure I get that right in law so that people don't get confused. So now I would come back, I would highlight my guy, I would just go into edit and change the dollar amount so that they match in both places, but you cannot rebill it. You just save it. Okay? Okay. All right, so that just saves it there, but at least now our records match. So if you catch it before you send it, you can fix it. If you don't catch it until you send it over, or bill it as we're calling it, you can get it in the cost and adjustments posting bucket. But if it gets out of the bucket, we have to go into the matter billing under matters, second option, to get to it and to change it here, or delete it. Okay? Unbilled things you can delete, no harm, no foul. The system doesn't care. Once we've billed it to the client, and this Abacus will automatically change the status. We're going to get to billing next. Once we do that, okay, it's not as easy to delete or to change because the system's thinking, hey, the client's already seen this. What are you doing? Why are you just willy-nilly changing it? We've got to go through a little different method to fix it after we build it. Okay? All right, so let's think about what we're doing here. We put money, okay, we set up the contract, all the name and matter got set up, the milestones, the workflows, the costs, or someone came into the matters and went through and set up all the matter information with the payment schedule, with the details in the billing remarks box, set up their credit card information, which is invisible right now, or ACH information, and we've taken care of costs. Okay, so what's next? Well, let's say it is time to actually process a bill. How do we do it? I know you all are getting a lot in one day. That's, we're recording this, and it's a lot to get through in one day, so try your best. Under billing, we're going to go to print bills. Okay, and you can reprint this bill, re-preview this bill, reprint it to a file. You could even re-email it, but I wouldn't suggest that because that's kind of confusing when the client gets 16 copies of the same bill or different bills. But you can redo this all the way up till the posting of the bill. So once again, another posting function, right? So here we are. This big old space is looking to see what bills you want to process. All right, so we click on Add. Now we have choices. We can bill by group, or we can bill individually. Now, I know you guys, that you have such mass volume, we're most likely going to be billing by group. My database is minimal, so I'm going to just bill individually, but, you know, bill by group, it's all going to be on the scheduled payment date that chooses who you want to bill. Okay, so let's come over here. Date of bill is whatever you want it to be. Okay, I'm actually going to make this May 1st because I think our loan mod guy I put in with a May 1st date. So just to make this consistent all the way through today and not hopefully be confusing, I'll put in May 1st in here. And if it is today, if today was May 1st, those fields would automatically say May 1st. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Okay, it always picks up the current date. Now, I have to mention my start date because people think this is crazy. What the heck is 01/01/1900? Even I'm not that old, okay? Not quite. But that date is a security date. That is going to make sure we get everything onto the bill, okay? It never repeats stuff. In other words, costs that are on this bill aren't going to go automatically appear on the next bill. Just if they don't pay them, they'll be part of the balance due. But it doesn't repeat stuff. It just makes sure that the balances are correct. So what I can say about this is never, ever touch this. Why is it here? Other law firms do other kinds of billings, and they have to touch it. Okay, I kind of wish we could take it out right now, but we can't. So we just ignore it. Everything else is the current date. And the way you guys are doing things now, all the money's in the trust account. So we want to be able to pull out the money that we've earned. Okay, so we want to have trust appear on our bill. So that's why automatically apply is the best way to do this. It's the easiest way to do this. If there was some reason you didn't want to touch that trust money, now I'm not trying to confuse the plan here because I'm thinking that you guys always want to take money out of trust as it is earned. But if there is a reason, because after all these years of training, there's always a reason for something odd happening, you could say don't touch it. And for any bills you select, it will not touch trust, even if there's $1 million in there. And of course, if you say automatically apply, it can only pull this matter, whatever matter we choose is trust money. It can't borrow from their friends. And last but not least is stop for manual input. And that allows you to say, okay, only take out so much. Don't use it all, which I don't think is the way you guys run the business. So I'm thinking automatic, which is the automatic choice, the default choice. Those will default to the actual date. And I'm going to just do the one we have set up here for Ben so that we don't get confused. Okay, so good old Ben. There he is. Now, I could continue putting people in here manually if I wanted to, but I think the goal is for you guys just to pick the date, and it will go get everybody who has a scheduled date of today or May 1st to make a payment that it's due, and we would be able to process their bills. It would go get all of them as soon as I click this Add to Billing Run. Now, the way I remember that this is the last button is it's outside of all of our choices. It's outside that box. See how there's a box around here? Well, Add to Billing Run is below it. So it's like after all of this is done, the last thing we do is go here and click on Add to Billing Run. Now, also, it's natural to go this way. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I went to Done instead of Add to Billing Run. If you had Done, nothing happens except you get frustrated. Okay, so Done is not the choice here. Add to Billing Run is the choice. So we click on it. Oh, great. Oh, we don't like this. Come on. After all this, really?
Sorry?
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt, but if for the people that is not accounting, they can log off.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go for it. Thank you for coming and listening to me go on and on. Like I say, we'll have a recording of this if you'd like it. Okay, I don't know what it didn't like, but it finally came through for me, so we can actually see this bill. Okay, so we choose it, or if you have a whole bunch of them you want to process at once, you can highlight or select them all, but the destination is where we're going. Sounds so exotic. I want a vacation. All right, so we come down here, And we're going to choose preview so we can play with it, okay? Obviously, if you're really processing one, you could print. Yes.
I'm sorry, can you go back to how you got to that screen?
Sure. All right, let's get out. Okay, so now it's time to process a bill. All right, we've worked our milestones, we've added cost, we put in the trust retainer, we set up the payment schedule, and now it's time to do a bill. So we go under billing, we go to print bills. So that brings us here. This would be empty normally. You click on add, and that's where we came in and put in our date. Okay, what date are we looking for? Because on the payment schedules, every matter that you set up with a payment schedule, when you want to run a bill, all you do is come in here and say, give me all of my clients with the payment schedule due date of May 1st. Okay, these other dates should default to May 1st as well. It's just we're a little ahead of May 1st. Okay, so you just get that in there, and then you will click on Add to Billing Run. I went in and just did one because I have a small database and I wanted to pull up that exact one that has a loan modification that I have under control. Okay, I don't know what other data is in the system right now. Okay, so after you click on Add to Billing Run, it puts it out here in the big box. But this is not posting. I know it kind of looks like it, but there is no posting button, so this is not posting. This is looking at our bill. This is printing our bill. If you guys are going to be emailing bills, this is where you email the bill. Okay, but first we may want to look at it. Okay, so let's see what we get on our bill. So here we are. We come down to the destination to determine, are we going to look at it, are we going to print it, or are we going to email it? Printing to file, that's a choice, but you're going to have a copy in Abacus Accounting and Billing, and you're going to have a copy of every bill in Abacus Law, so you don't need to print to file. All right. Emailing it does send it to the client, so you might want to look at it before you click that email button. So we're going to click preview. Okay, so preview. Let's see what we get, hopefully. Okay. Okay, all right. So here we go. You guys will have your logo or your letterhead up here at the top. The date of the bill, the invoice number, who it is and their address. Now remember, we may not always be billing to the client. I know that, but that's all set up in law, so don't worry about that. Here's the client information, the matter information, and that other stuff I typed in there. Okay, if you want more information, it can fit in there. There's more room. All right, and then these are the milestones. Okay, I did a lot today. The initial of who did it, the hours they worked on it, and this is their total flat fee. All right, so let's move down a little bit. There are my costs. Okay, we can take out this check number column. I keep meaning to do that. You don't have to have check number column because that looks a little confusing. And then we have the summary. The total of their case is $5,500. They owe $1,500, okay, because that's the milestones we have matched. And we go on to the next page. Well, obviously, this is the first bill to this matter, so there is no prior balance. That kind of makes sense. We do have 3 pages up here on the left top. And I'm sure everybody's used to clicking to get to the next page. This is just a natural Microsoft thing. All right, so here's the continuation of the summary of the bill. So they owe $1,500 plus they owe those costs. Now, way back at the beginning of today, we put that $1,500 in their trust account. Abacus is going to take that money, or yes, Abacus is going to take that money and transfer it over to your operating account. This is what this says. Now, it doesn't magically just do it. I so wish it would. We do have to do one more step after this, okay? But this is telling the client we're going to do this. So in my mind, this is the most important part of the bill. Is, hey, Mr. Client, we're taking your $1,500 and you're still going to owe us $178.68, okay, until the next billing, which, you know, money will come out of a trust again. So here we
Quick question. Didn't Ralph had decided not to use the trust wording on the billing itself as to not confuse the clients?
Thank you. Thank you. Yesterday, Raphael was in there for a minute and he left. So I was asking him exactly what he wanted the words to say. And he didn't respond to me. So what I'd like to do is send this up and have you guys agree, maybe you're meeting Monday, Tuesday, whatever, put in the exact phrasing that you want this to say, because I know trust is confusing to the client, so we want to change that, but I don't know what you want it to say. Okay, so if I could send this to you, and then you take it and say, okay, we got to tell her what we're going to say, because I got to push this over to programming so they make the changes.
Yeah,
I figured that this, thank you, because I knew that, you know, this isn't going to be the exact wording you want on your bills yet. So this is basically where we are, as we get the process going, and then we can change the you know, what it says. That's not going to be a big deal. This will come out, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I just have to tell programming to take this out, because, like, once again, I think that's going to be confusing to the client. And what are they talking about here? Well, so, okay, so now we go to page 3, and this is where their payment schedule is. We haven't taken that money out of trust yet, so it's not showing here. Okay, but as soon as we process our bill and take the money from trust, it will show that they've paid that one. And we move on to the next. And here again, you know, what do we exactly want this to say? Okay, you know what? I am going to send this to myself, so I have it to send to you, and we'll just put it on the desktop here. This is Ben's bill. FFS. There we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, we got to get this to you. Okay, so if you wanted to look at another bill, because we'd set up without, you know, 10 bills to look at, you could just go to the next bill and pull it up. It would be listed here, and we can turn this message off. This is a pain in the hiney, you know. Okay, we know it was completed. And you would pick the next one and preview, the next one and preview. Now, this little button down here, I should have mentioned it a little earlier. When you have your bills listed here and you want to preview them, and then you want to come back and email them, or you want to come back and print them, you can check this button, and whatever's listed here will not go out of the box. They will stay in here, so you don't have to go back and get them. This is actually a new feature. Kind of forgot about it, but it makes life a lot easier. So it's like, wait a minute, where'd my bill go? I want to now print it, or now I'm ready to email it. I checked it out. It was right. Why can't I email it? Well, if we turn this button on, the name that was here before we clicked preview will still be here. Okay? All right. Now, let's just finish up this process. I know this is a lot, but you guys can do this. You do whatever you have to do to that bill. If we need to edit those milestones because there's misspellings or they're wrong, you know, whatever the reason is, I know there's 1,000 of them, to edit them, you come here under time tickets. Okay? For costs that were posted, we went to matter billing, but for time tickets, we come to time tickets. That is what they are called when they hit the billing program. So we open it up. Let's go get Ben's. Thank goodness he's at the top. Okay? And you just put him in here, you get him, and all of his time tickets will pop up. Now you can take them and do whatever you need to do. All right, so if something's not written correctly in here, you want to change it, the date, you know, whatever you want to change, the number of hours, you edit the one you highlighted, and now you can change whatever it is you want to change. Okay, if you want to add more detail here, you can add more detail. Okay, if you want to change the date, we can change the date. We have not posted that bill. That bill has not been, some programs call it finalized. That bill has not been finalized. We haven't posted it, so we can come in and make as many changes as we please. Let's make this 2 hours. Oops,
Terry?
yes?
Again, this can only be done from Abacus Accounting, or it can also be done from Abacus Law.
Okay, that is good. Let us go back there and talk about that. I always just keep going in accounting without thinking about law. Once again, and at least the rule's the same, If the event has a dollar sign in front of it, the changes have to be made in Abacus billing. Okay? If we catch it before we bill it, you can edit this and change whatever you want to change. You know, the hours, the text, the date, okay, the WHO code. You can before it hits bill. Once you've hit bill, that puts the dollar sign in place, and we can no longer edit it to affect billing. But here again, if you've sent it into billing, and in billing they fixed it, they changed it, okay, you can come back into Abacus Law and edit this. Okay, you simply edit, you cannot bill it again. So it's the same process as costs. If it's been billed, you can edit just to change it in law. But if it hasn't been billed, you can edit it before you bill it, and then it will be corrected here and go into accounting accordingly. Okay, does that make sense? Well, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So time tickets get edited here or deleted. Once again, there is a delete button, but I'd be very careful with this because I know you guys are putting a lot on these milestones as far as activity or productivity goes. So we should have some rules in place. So, you know, who can do what kind of things. So yes, you can still edit the time, or I should say the milestones that are here. All right, now to keep going here, so let's say the bill looks perfect and we love it and it's time to go to the post it.
So I have a
finalize
question.
it. Please.
Okay. What about if a client calls and asks for a bill? So we need to reprint an invoice. How do we do that?
Okay, good question. If you have not posted it yet, you just go back into billing and reprint it under print bills. And you can reprint it right here. But most of the time, the client won't, you know, most of the time you will have posted it, because after you print the bill, we should go directly into posting of the bill. Posting of the bill is the finalizing. At that point, you can actually get where, I'll show you where the copies of the bills are, because that is more likely how you're going to reprint. So let's post our bill, and then we'll show you exactly where you can go get it and reprint it, or even re-email it if you need to. From within Abacus. So the first, the first part, because there always seems to be, well, what if I'm in the middle of things? You know, when do I need to reprint it? If you haven't posted it, you can come back in here, add it in again, and reprint.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When you were showing the milestones, if we wanted to edit them, is that just for editing? Do we have to post anything or just save it?
Very good. You just save these. You fix them and save them. We have not, see how posting's down here? We have not gotten there yet. So we can fix whatever we want. We can fix the cost on the matter screen. We can fix the time tickets through time tickets. We can do all of these things before we post.
Okay, so that's just for editing. That's it.
Yeah, that is just for editing. That's, you know, before we have finalized our bill, before we said that's it, no more changes are to be made, and we're going to post it. In your case,
okay,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is this also like the cost? Like, if we make a change in Abacus accounting to the milestone, do we then have to go back to Abacus Law and change the milestone?
If you want it to reflect what's in accounting, yes.
Okay.
If you want it to match what's in accounting, yes.
Okay.
All right. I've had people say, oh, it was, you know, one letter out of place. I'm not going back and doing that. So, you know, you pick your battles. Do I want to do it just for one word that was spelled wrong? Or is it a big deal and I should go back and make it match? You know, I think a dollar amount might be a big deal, so you want to go back and make it match. So it's up to you. You are in charge. Okay? But like I say, everything needs to be fixed, whether you're just doing it in accounting or you're doing it in accounting and in law. You know, you want everything to be fixed before we get here. Okay, so I'm going to click on Post Bills. Guess what this is? Another bucket. Okay, only this time all we really do here is either get rid of them because we never meant to print that bill. We never meant to look at that bill. We're not ready to send that bill. Somebody said, stop, don't do that. We're not ready yet. We can't take their trust money yet. Okay, if we run into that situation, this is the last chance we have to highlight it and to delete it. Okay, and then that takes us back as if we didn't, any changes we made are still in here. It's just we're not going to finalize it. We've changed our mind. We decided not to push it to the last step. Okay, that's what delete would do. That's, probably not going to happen a lot because you do all that work and now we're actually ready to finalize it. So to finalize it, we click Post. Now,
Mary?
a couple things I want to, yes?
When we get to this Post window, is there a way to preview all these bills before we post it? At the same time, like to have...
You can get a list of all the bills that are sitting in here, but that's not going to show the bill itself. Back under Print Bills is where we see the bill until after we post it. We're going to go over here and be able to get to it here, but it is posted at that point.
So what
when you go to post, no, there is no way to look at a bill in this window.
And would that pre-bill window do that?
Okay. I did not mention pre-bills because that's kind of like an in-between step. It's up to you guys if you want to do that. But let's go back and talk about them. Pre-bills obviously are sitting right here.
Usually when we are reviewing the bills to send every month, we just pull all the invoices and we review them one by one before we bill them. So that's my question. Like, if there's a way we do that, we can do that before posting and printing the final invoices.
You can do that before going to print. You can do that before we go to print bills. Okay, you can do it here. This is the same exact screen. Oh my, something back. Okay,
hello?
let's see better. Okay, I'm still here. It just started squeaking.
Okay.
Pre-bills is like rough draft bills. These are bills you never send the client, but it's a way to look at them. Let's look at this guy in a pre-bill mode. Okay, so you could come in here and print out all your pre-bills, get them all lined up here and print them, and then everybody looks through them. Then you go to print them with print bills for the real bill. Come on, little guy.
So if we want to make an adjustment to the bill while we're reviewing it, would it be from pre-bill?
All right, hold on. You can make adjustments for cost at any time. Go get Ben.
Like, for example, if we want to see how the bill looks and do the adjustment while we're looking at the bill, is there a way to do that?
Let's go try. I don't know with scheduled flat fee if we can do that, but let's go try it. If it's just a normal hourly bill, the answer is yes. But you guys do mainly flat fee schedule, so I don't know. Let's look at pre-bills. Let's go get Ben. Okay, same date rules apply. We do not show trust on the pre-bills. All right. Let's see if this even does for flat fee scheduled billing.
Okay.
Oh, come on now. Get the first. Let's get the first. Let's get the first. I should have done it as of today. All right, so let's go get Ben. There he is. Okay, so it's the same exact process. All right, add to billing run. Here he is. Let's preview him. So remember, these are rough draft bills. These are not pretty bills. Okay? So the client never gets this bill. But if you wanted to print these out instead of previewing them, okay, well, let's see what we can do. You can preview them. You can print them. You never want to email them. So here we are. Let's see if it will allow us to edit. Oh, it is. Good. Okay, let's do this again. Excellent. Okay, so do we understand how we got this far? How we got them into the box to be able to look at them? From here, I hope that was a yes. You click on Add. You choose who you're choosing. You choose your dates. You choose the person you want. You click on Add to Billing Run. It puts them in the big box. Now, if we want to look at it, and I think we can edit this at the same time on the screen. So we click Preview. It comes up. All right, this is all stuff about the case, so you don't have to go looking for it. It's hopefully right there what you need. Here are the milestones. Okay, yes, it has dollar amounts with them. We don't want to touch those because those don't go through to the bill. Okay, but what you can do to edit the words or to edit the timekeeper or edit the date is you take your mouse and you double click right here on this big word fees. Now this is to edit on the screen here, so you don't have to go to time tickets. Abacus always has more than one way of doing things. The reason I brought up time tickets is if you have to delete, you have to go to time tickets. So you could edit at time tickets, you could delete in time tickets. Here on the pre-bill, it's nice to be able to see it right in front of you and interact with it and make changes here, but we cannot delete when we're in here looking at it this way. We can edit, though, by double-clicking on this word fees. Then it just brings us up our fees. Then you take your mouse and you click on the ticket number one time, and that opens up the ticket. And now we can make changes here. Change the date. Oh, if I could type, it would help. Change the date, change the dollar, or I should say the hours. Okay, and when we're done, we hit done. Hold on here. Okay, let me see what we're doing here. This is a flat fee scheduled bill. Okay, what doesn't it like? All right, well, it took it. And it redisplays it, so you can see that you've added, you've fixed whatever you want to fix. So you can edit, I call this editing on the fly. You can edit on the fly for time changes, for time ticket changes. You also can edit on the fly for your costs. Okay, what do? We take our mouse, we double click on the word costs, okay, and then we click once on the ID number. But remember, this is just to make changes, to do edit work. We cannot delete here. All right, so it's nice to have this if we're lucky enough not to need to delete anything. We can make all the changes we please and hit done. Okay, and the system should refresh itself. Let's see there. Oh, there it goes. So it refreshes and brings it back, so you can see that the changes you wanted were made. I didn't. So yes, you can edit on the screen with your pre-bills, all right, but you cannot delete. You actually, and I don't know that this is something you guys want to do because everything should come from law. But if there was a situation where you had to add a milestone or you had to add a cost, these buttons are here. But this will not put them in law. They will not exist at all in law. So I'm thinking that this may not be something you want to get in the habit of doing, that we should follow our plan to go from law into accounting onto the bill and post the bill. And if we're missing something, we go back into law and put it in there because law should equal billing. I think that's going to be important, right, for you guys? You know, some law firms, that's not so important. They just want to get it on the bill and they're done. But you guys have a very specific way of doing things. You're very special. Okay. So yes, you can do that here. You can edit here either your fees or your costs. But if you have to delete, and I hate how this jumps around because it's a little confusing. If you have to delete time or milestones, you go to time tickets and bring them up for the proper person. Because I don't know why they won't put a delete button on that pre-bill screen, but here's the only delete button for time tickets. So if I wanted to delete something, I'd have to highlight it and delete it here. With the cost, we did this a little earlier. We go into matter billing and bring them up. Okay, because different things go to different places. They all end up here, but we haven't finalized our bill yet, so there's no bill here yet. After we put a bill here, you're going to be able to look at your bills, to reprint your bills, to re-email your bills, all from the Show Bills button, which is on the matter billing. Okay?
What about,
go ahead.
What about for the flat fee installments? Can we edit that from the pre-bill?
The flat fee comments. Oh, are you saying, let's make sure I understand. Are you saying, come on, little guy, this
about
part
the monthly
here?
payments? No. The payment schedule, can that be edited from the pre-bill too?
Well, Ryan, remember good old Ryan, he is in the process of getting that programmed in. Okay, remember when I was there, we went through, we have to have a place to put a description on these installments. That is going through. But
I'm not talking about the
yet.
description. No, not the description. I'm talking about the amounts. See how we can edit the milestones and the cost? Can we edit those from the bill?
Oh,
from the pre-bill?
Okay. Can you edit this? No, you cannot edit these from that pre-bill screen.
Okay.
Because this is a whole payment schedule, so they have an amount here, so they don't want anybody coming in and on the bill just changing the amount or something there.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the new description we're going to have for you guys in there, you know, whether that will be editable or not. I don't think so, because I think it's only going to be right in here somehow. All right, so I don't think so. If there's something wrong with the payment schedule, we need to come back to the matter, and we need to edit here. We can edit any of these. And while we're on the topic, we can add additional monthly fees here. Okay, I know that's something that happens a lot. After 7 months, then it's $350 a month for 4 or 5 or however many months. We do that here. But let's finish the billing process before I jump off into another topic, because I'm trying to keep my brain going in one way. But remember, yes, we can come back here. So remind me to come back for additional monthly fees. So yes, all of you can edit your fees and you can edit your costs on your pre-bills. Deleting has to be done in a different spot, and then you can go to print your bills. There is no posting for pre-bills. It actually does nothing in the program except allow you to make some edits and, you know, to look at them, to print them. I think I mentioned that down here in the destination, yes, here's our preview, here's our print. Okay, you do not want to email. I don't know why they don't take that out. Who emails pre-bills? Because it goes to the client. It goes to the address on their matter. So you don't want them to see the rough draft bill. Okay, so you can preview here or you can print here. So this is kind of the same as the actual bill. Printing bills, the screens are similar, except the print bills for actual bills themselves has that trust information on it. Okay, so I hate that I threw that in at the last minute. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to do pre-bills or not, but it sounds like this will be working for you. So do your pre-bills, edit your pre-bills, print the bills. If you need to reprint them again, or you need to fix something between this, like you did your pre-bill and then you went to your actual bill and there was still something wrong, that's okay. go back and fix it and reprint it. You know, just go back and keep doing this as many times as you need to until you get it just the way you want it. So there's no limit as to how many times you can look at somebody's pre-bill or even look at their actual bill.
Mary, I have a question.
Please? Are you still there? Uh-oh. Okay, I'm not sure who that was, but please dial back in. Oh, there you are.
It was Carol, sorry. It was Carol, but she got disconnected. She had a question. How can she view some payment summary
The payment summary.
for a client?
Oh. Okay, are we talking about on their matter, what they've paid and what they have left?
Yeah, because sometimes we receive calls from clients that they want a statement of all the payments they have made.
Okay. Our matter billing activity will give all of that as soon as we get this bill posted.
Okay.
All of that, this is going to be the most likely place you come for that. Now, while I'm on this topic, they're making changes into Abacus for you guys, Abacus Law, where on the, let me go get, I saw one this morning. Let's do this guy. They're putting in law, so you don't have to go into accounting, the ability to see some stuff from accounting. So down here, there's an accounting button, right? And this is in law. This is open up the matter. Okay? There's an accounting button. This right here will give you the matter screen. Okay, so let's open that up. Okay, so it opens up his screen. And you can get to any of these buttons then from Abacus Law. Okay? But when you're saying something to print for the client, I'm thinking that you're going to want to print this matter billing activity. Okay? I'm, trying to get through the process so we have something here to show you. And there is a print button here so that you can print these out. And the client will be able to see everything that's happened along the way. Okay, it will have their whole flat fee. I'm going to go post that bill so you guys can see that. So we go to post bills. All right, this is telling me that I do have to take money out of trust. That's why this is here. So posting the bill is not our last step, but we're getting close. I'm going to post it. It wants to know what date. Well, this really was a May 1st bill, so I'm going to fix that date. Make it my May 1st bill. Okay, so I post, and when I post, oh, come on. It just is messing with me today. Okay, now post. Thank you. All right, so after it posts that bill, it knows that we said on the bill that we were taking trust money, right? Well, Abacus is bringing you into trust. So whoever the lucky person is that gets to process this, this is telling the system that we are taking money out of the trust account and putting it into our operating account. Okay, so we tell it how we are doing that. Are we physically printing checks and going to take them to the bank? Or are we doing it online? And if we are, it gives us a transaction number. If we were printing checks, we give it the check number that we're using, and they can all print to one check if you want them to. Or are we just putting it into the program? We're not really going to print a check. We're not really going to, well, we need to tell them if we're doing an online transaction. Okay, so I don't think you guys will be using this one. This is really for people who handwrite checks. There's still people out there that do that. So you guys will use one of these two. And yes, I want to do that. So take Ben's money out of the trust account. Now I've posted my bill, and I took money out of Ben's trust account. All right, so what's the last thing left? We took it out of trust, and right now it's kind of hanging in midair because we hadn't put it in Abacus into operating. And the way we do that is to come here, go to Payments Received. This is the last new function I'll show you right here. It is our last posting function. Here's that $1,500. And it's telling us it was for that matter. It was monies applied from trust, and we post it. Okay, so that last posting here takes the money that came out of trust and puts it into operating. So when we say yes, we have completed billing. We have issued the bill after we've made all our changes. We posted the bill. We took money out of trust, and we dumped it into our operating account. So now let's go back and look at that matter billing. Now you're going to get more substance here. And this you also can see in Abacus Law. All right, so here we go. So now, okay, I must have put this in later. I did whatever. Anyway, here are the items that were on his bill and the payment that came out of trust to pay his balances. They were for different things. Fees, hard costs, soft costs, so that's all automatically done for you. If I want to look at that bill, I click on Show Bills. I highlight which one, and you could either email it or bring it up so you can print it out. So there's a copy always of every bill on their matter billing activity in Abacus Billing. And let's go to Law. Let's pull up our guy. Ben. Okay, so Ben. Oh, I don't even, okay, there he is. On, where is the copy of that bill? It's on the Document tab. So there's a copy of the bill in Law. And if we open it, okay, it's the PDF version. So not only did it update it into billing, so it's on the matter billing activity, it's also, there's a copy in Abacus Law. So if you needed to print it or to email it, you can do so from here.
Terry?
Yes?
But is there any report that shows only payments received?
Only payments received. So money that we have, okay, let me show you what's in here right now.
We can do a payment.
It's called the Daily Posted Cash Receipt Report. Okay, for whatever account you're looking for, because you all have many. And hopefully this won't take too long. Okay, so here, this was something else I did earlier, but here is Ben's $1,500. So you have a date range you pull. You have the account that you're looking into to see payments. Okay, now this isn't ACH stuff. This isn't credit card stuff. That's other reports. This is simply the money that went into the operating account. If you wanted to see this for trust, you can pull the same report, but you put in the trust account.
Okay, but this report only shows what has been posted and what's pending to repost. It doesn't show, like, in general, all the payments that we received?
Okay, when you say all the payments you received, where did we put them?
I mean, in general, like I don't want to see the ones that went to trust and the ones that went to operating. Like, I want to see them all. Is there a way?
Well, that was the operating account. That was the trust account. What other money do you receive? You can look at a checkbook that gives you everything going on in the checkbook. All the money coming in, all the money going out, the balance in the checkbook.
And we can select by matter?
You can't do this by matter. This is a checkbook. You want all the matters who have paid in. Is that what we're looking for?
No, I wanted for a specific client to show me all the payments that the client has made to us.
for all his different matters?
Yeah, in general, for all of them.
For all the clients and all the matters? Or for one
No.
client with all his matters?
In a specific client.
Okay, well, back to that daily posted cash receipt report. You could narrow it down by client. Remember, my database only has a couple things in it. I haven't done a lot of entries in here. So right now, it's everything that was paid from this date to this date into this account. I mean, if you're looking for all your bank accounts, that's something different. We don't have something that would pick all 8 of your bank accounts and put them on one report. That would need to be customized for you.
So will that report that you're telling me right now will show all the clients that client made, even if we already send them to operating?
You have to put it in Abacus billing for it to go on to report. So it has to, if it's in law, okay, there's nothing in law well, unless there's a specific function in law that you put money into, but I don't know of any. All money goes into accounting and billing. So any money that is come into billing, now are you saying that it didn't go into trust, that you just put it right into operating?
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. The client comes to the office because he wants to do the taxes for 2016. And they need a report showing all the payments that they have made to us to bring it to the accountant. What can we give the client?
Okay, the client, with all his matters that you've worked for him for the year 2016, would be this report with the date range you want for the account the money went into. Okay, if you're looking, and you can do it by client. All right, let's get Ben's, whatever Ben's last name was. Okay, for all his matters. Now remember, we've only done one. But this would list everything from January 1st of 2016 through today. You can make that date range whatever you want. And it will list all of the different matters with the dollar amounts that he has paid.
Can you please zoom it in a little bit?
I'm sorry, sure. Now, I'm dealing with an empty database pretty much, so that's why you're not seeing a lot in here. But this is all payments from this date to this date, okay, into your main account for this client and all his matters.
Okay, but it will not give me the specific payment method that the client made, right?
Are you saying whether they paid by credit card or ACH?
Yeah.
That is not on this report. The credit card and ACH report, now, it's kind of in the middle of in here. Where was it? Under client report, under matter reports, are they there? Let's see. Oh, I know where they are. They're billing. Okay, there's going to be a credit card activity report. I don't know. Let's see if anything's on here. Okay, that credit card is not set up yet. Whatever. And this will be who, which matter, what account number, invoice that it paid, the response. Okay, this is from the actual APX, the approved charge, the declined charge. So that is actually what's happening on the credit card. The invoice fees and costs, let's see what that one does. Okay. All right, so this one is more what we've billed them, okay? All right, so this is what's been billed to them. So this is not payments. So you're looking specifically for the payment report, but you'd like some other included description. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to have to put that together.
Perry,
Right, so
I have
yes.
a question. So the
Sure.
first report, the cash report that you show us, it's only going to show what the client paid via cash, or every single method of payment is going to be on that report?
Every payment will be on that report. I think
Doesn't
what we're
matter if it was
missing,
cash, check, credit card.
right, what's missing is the description of how it was paid. And I think that's what's confusing for you all, because it doesn't have that, and that's what you're used to seeing. So we need to add that to the report.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the parameters are, it's kind of like the basic shells here. Okay, we're just leave, I think there's a couple payments in here. But anyway, this, the basics are here, but what you guys need is probably for it to have another column with the payment method, because that's what you're looking for. Is that correct? Paid by ACH.
Yes, that will be helpful.
Can you zoom in, please?
What is that? Zoom in, I'm sorry. If you guys can mock one up or send me what you're used to seeing, that's how we will use, that's what we can use to design it for you. All right, now this is not getting into the details of what went through the ACH and credit card processing. That's going to be something totally separate, because that will just be those items. This report should be everything, all payments that were made. So where did this money come from, basically, is what you want to know. So if you have a report that you've been using all this time and you live and die by that report, please send it to me, a copy of it, at perry@abacuslaw.com, and I will get it to the programmers, because obviously we can make enhancements to these things. This is pretty basic. I will agree with you there. But I need to know what you want to see and what you guys like to call things. Okay? So don't get discouraged that, oh my gosh, I don't know what this one is. Let's work together to figure out, especially on the reporting side. We can get through the process. That's the main part of what we're doing today. And now we need to see what reports get generated from doing our work. So I know that you guys are anxious to see the APX, ACH credit card payment report, as am I. And obviously we need to enhance our daily posted cash receipt report so you have more information there. All right, you all still with me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I know that was a lot that we went through today. I'm hoping that we will have more classes like this. Before you go live, after you go live, that you actually get your fingers on the keyboard. If you guys can practice with this stuff, I don't know if you have your database in there yet. Go through the process we went through today. Try all those out. And then the best thing we can do is send me a list of questions, because you were trying this, and what about this, what about that, because I'm just giving you the general layout. And when you actually have questions, that's really where you're going to start learning and understanding a little bit more. So I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. So please let me know what your questions are, and we can address them.
Perry, I have a question.
Yeah.
What would we do if a payment got returned? Like if a client paid it by check and then it bounced?
Okay, if it's a bounce check, all right, first of all, we have to know, did it bounce in trust or did it bounce in operating? Okay, the way we adjust it, the way we work that is almost exactly the same. It's just where we go. If it was in trust, we go back to trust deposits. We go back into the bucket and we add. Okay, we pick the appropriate person. Let's do Ben. All right, and then there's his account again, and we come over here. This is what makes it get what I call reversed out, is you use the minus sign, the baby dash. All right, itty bitty dash, minus sign, hyphen, whatever you want to call it, and then you put in the dollar amount. Abacus is going to put parentheses around this, and my system just froze. Come on. Oh, why? Okay, anyway, you're supposed to be able to type in the dollar amount. Is my numlock key? There we go. Somehow got turned off. You hit your enter key to move the next field. Accounting, everybody puts things in brackets, so Abacus takes it. It knows it's a minus. And then down here, a description. All right, and you post it with the notification date of the bounce of the NSF. All right, that backs it out of all the places. This is telling us that we already took his money, so there's an issue here. All right, so hopefully you know whether it bounced before we do billing and take the check or take the money out. If it's the credit card, you do the same thing. If it didn't go through for whatever reason in trust, the same thing goes, except when you're in here, you check this box. And it will take it, you know, it will reverse. Well, I don't know how it can do that on the credit card, because if it didn't get approved, the money never came in. All right, so that's, I got to jump ahead on that one. If it was the operating account, okay, you go under billing, you go back to payments received, okay, back into the bucket, back through add. We haven't really looked at this that much yet. Under all matters, you find Ben, okay, and on the payment amount, you put a minus with the dollar amount again. That minus sign is the key. That minus sign is the tool that makes it go back out. It takes it out of the operating account, takes it out of the bank rec, it takes it off the productivity reports, takes it off the income statement, and of course in here you're going to put in bounce check. Oh, they don't let me type. You can see why. Okay, and of course we have to go through and say what it bounced from, minus our scheduled flat fee because it didn't go through, and we hit done. What's it doing? It's yelling at me for something here. But this is the method. You do the minus, it comes through, and it updates everything in the system. It's not liking me right now. I'm not sure why, but that minus sign is the way you get through the system to take it out. Under operating or trust, we have to make sure we know which account. Okay?
So to do it for operating, we do it through matters.
Through operating, you do it under billing, under payments received. For trust, we do it under trust.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know we're a little bit over our time frame today, so I know you guys have other things you have to get accomplished. But like I say, I know we will be having additional sessions, but now if you can get in and play with your system a little bit, get some sample matters in there, you know, go get the milestones billed, enter costs, bring those over, post them, run some bills, you know, try going in and editing on the bill itself if you want to with the pre-bill. If you want to post bills, so, you know, right now I think it's the perfect time because this is nothing's live. So if you can practice in here, it's good.
Perry, if we need to transfer funds, will we do it the same way? Like minus it from one matter and just apply it to the other one?
Oh, yes. If you need to transfer, like, from one matter to the other, like it got accredited to one matter, it needs to be the other, that's exactly what you would do.
Okay.
Okay, so one's going to be negative that you enter with the minus sign to take it away from him. But then the next one right after that you input, and what you do is if you click this button here, it will leave you on this screen, so you can just do one and then do the other right after it.
Okay.
And then post
And
yeah.
Whatever description we write in there will show on the invoice, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Now you have an F5 lookup here, so if you want to add something to that, Okay, because this is, I think we got this from you guys for the different types of payments. You can add to this list. So if you've got, transfer from matter to matter, whatever you want to say, you can add to this list. So it will then be available to easily use in your description.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's F5 by clicking in the description box. You also
Terry,
have to express. Yes.
what about when we do refunds? Should we do the minus as well?
No, when you do a refund, well, let's think about it. You need to issue a check for a refund, right?
Sometimes we do refunds via credit cards or ACH.
Okay, with the ACH, we're going to have to address that after it gets put in place because I can't get to that screen. All right, so after that's set up, we can run through the credit card. I have a feeling it will be going, if it was in trust, we will be using trust deposits with clicking the button, but I need to get it set up to make it, try it out a few times first. If you're writing a check to the client, you can just go through the demand check writer and put in their matter number here, okay, to who it is, their name in here as the payee, and the account would be, okay, if you're refunding fees, you're refunding fees, right? So you got to get the proper account in here from your chart of accounts. So that will produce a check, plus it will update their matter billing activity to show that the refund, went over to that ledger for that matter.
Will it affect the law side as well?
No. A check, anything you write a check for does not go into Abacus Law.
So we have to put a amount.
You can see it in Abacus Law by looking at the matter billing activity.
Yeah.
Right? When we brought up, who was it, Casey, I think we could see it from. Here on the screen, this accounting button, you can see their matter, the matter maintenance screen with the payment schedules and all that stuff. This billing activity is the matter billing activity, so you can see that here, but you physically have to do the work in Abacus Accounting, and then you can see it here. It actually brings you to that screen. Here's their trust activity, so you can get to see the time tickets here as well. I'm not sure what this one is. Oh, this is a different way of looking at it. This is overall in the life of the matter, how many fees were billed, how many costs were billed, the different kinds of costs that were billed, how many things were paid, what's waiting to be billed to them, and the total amount, and then a little aging. So that's called the accounting summary. So you do have 4 or 5 different accounting reports that you can get to in law. Okay? So you can see them here, but to do something in them, you have to be in billing or accounting. You have to be in here to do it, but then we share it over to the other side. Okay. Now, someone asked me about closing yesterday, and it brought up a very good point. It would be very easy to close an accounting, but this system is so complex now. You guys have such a sophisticated way of doing all of this with your milestones and your workflows and everything that affects the billing side that I'm going to show you what you should not do, okay? And when you open up a matter, right there on that very first screen, the one we've been dealing with all day, is a place for a close date, okay? And, if I wanted to close it today, I'd put in my date and I'd say save. But this message pops up and we need to pay attention to that because it's saying, wait a minute, shouldn't you be closing this in Abacus Law, practice management side, so that it fixes the calendars and, takes care of everything else? If you even said yes and there was a balance due, it would tell you can't close accounting because there is a balance still due. But we should not do this. We should let things close in Abacus Law. Okay, it will insert the close date into Abacus Accounting automatically, so things go from law into accounting. But if there is a balance, either in the trust account or balance that is still due on the matter, it will say so. And the person who's clicking the close button should not close because money is still due. Okay, so you don't want to just come in here and close in accounting. You want to go into Abacus Law and, you know, here's a close date on the matter screen there. But it's going to clear calendars and undo a bunch of things. And, you know, I worry about the accounting side the most. It will tell you if the money is due and tell you you should not close it. But we have to give you the right to do whatever you want. It's not the smart thing to do if you ask me, but there you go. But law, you should close in law. That's going to be the rule.
What about if we're closing the matter? The client owes money, we're closing the matter, and we're writing off the balance.
Okay? Of course, that's in accounting. That's in cost and adjustments. So we've actually seen this area already. Cost, obviously, that's where we post all the costs that come in, and adjustments. So this is the spot where, in our bucket, we add, we pick our matter. How this one keeps getting up there. Go away, buddy. All right, I want Ben. Okay. Now, it's all about the code. If we're writing something off, we open this up, okay, because this is usually postage or court appearance or credit report, but in this case, these are adjustments. So we open this up, and this is all alphabetical. So if we go down to the bottom under write-off, you will see write-off codes already here. So if you're writing something off, we need to know what we're writing off because that's going to affect your taxes. Okay, so are we writing off fees? Are we writing off hard costs? Okay, and what's the dollar amount? I'll say $50. And it automatically knows that we're going to credit this ledger, okay, because we're writing things off. This is the same as if it was a discount, okay? And we want it to go on our write-off report because you can get a separate report we give to the tax accountants at the end of the year to see everything that we had to write off in the category in which we wrote it off, like this would be hard costs. Okay, so it's done through adjustments, and of course it's posted. You want to do that before you close, so there will not be any balances in the system. Now, of course, we're back to reports. Well, how do I know who owes me money? Well, of course, there's accounts receivable reports down here. All right, so after you all start putting in info, playing with it a bit, you could even get a miniature accounts receivable report to see what's on there. There are lots of criteria to choose from as far as what to filter to put on the report. Okay, you could include closed matters. And that will show you somebody closed a matter and it still had a balance. You know, because we let you close it, we tell you not to, but if they decide that it's going to be written off, but that's not their department, they still close it. Well, now the accounting people would say, well, let's see what closed matters are in here and be able to, you know, look at the report that way. But this aging report, of course, ages it. This is the normal accounts receivable report that everybody's used to seeing. Okay. Your flat fee schedule details, that's specifically for flat fee scheduled cases. All right, so there's other reports in here. I like this area for my accounts receivable. And just to throw this in here, this is where we're getting a little overkill, but we got to know where these things are. In productivity, okay, so on one hand you have accounts receivable. That means you've billed it, right? We've processed it. We've finalized the bill. We posted the bill. The client knows they owe us. That goes on accounts receivable. For your WIP reports or work in process, this is information that has not yet been billed to the client. These are the fees that have not been billed, costs that have not been billed. They've been entered, but they have not been billed yet. Okay, so it's kind of like the right hand is the stuff we have not billed, and the left hand is everything we have billed. So your work in process report and your accounts receivable report is an entire picture of what's going on in your database. Okay, because if it's work in process, it's not going to be on AR. And of course, if you build it, it's not going to be on work in process. So those reports, I always tell people to print at the end of their billing. Now, you guys do billing constantly, so I guess just once a month you're going to say, this is the day I want to print those reports, and come in and print them. And there's different versions of them. Right.
Perry,
Yes.
so going back to closing the file, once everything is done in Abacus Law, all we have to do is change the date in Abacus Accounting. We don't have to do any more steps.
If everything's done in the case, you go into Abacus Law, open up the matter, put in the close date, and that pushes it over into accounting, into billing on the matter screen. You don't even have to go in there and do it. Only if there's a balance due, you know,
Right.
if somebody's closing a matter and there's a balance due, we need to clean up something in accounting if we're not going to collect the money, right? So we have to have communication between people working in law and people working in accounting. You let me know if we're trying to write something off, I'll go write it off in accounting. But if it's just a clean case and it's done, you just put in the close date here. It pushes that same close date into accounting onto that screen, the matter screen, and now you're done. That's it.
Okay, so let's say that the client had a balance and we decided to write it off and we already inactivated the file. But then out of nowhere, the client came back with a payment. Do we have to inactivate it? I mean, activate it again?
Well, if there's a close date, that's not going to stop you from doing something. It will tell you, like, let's say you wanted to go in and you wanted to take that write-off off their ledger, okay? It would tell you when you put in that matter number that that case is closed. That's all it says. It doesn't stop you. It lets you continue to work. You know, you probably want to take out the close date if you're really going to reopen it, and all you have to do then is just take it off that screen. Just take it out of that field, and they're back open again. It's not a big process for closing or opening. Okay, if there was a date in here, okay, we just come back, and now we open it. You just take it out, boom, it's back open again.
And will that also happen in Abacus Law automatically, or do we have to go back to Abacus?
Okay, I think a good way to remember between the two programs is Abacus Law is friendly. It pushes things, it shares things with Abacus Billing and Accounting, right? Things go that were in law, you can push into a billing. You can push into accounting. In billing and accounting, we don't share with Abacus Law. Okay, the program was not built to push things back over, like, you know, a milestone. After it's been pushed into accounting, we don't correct it in law. After cost comes over from the law side and we change it, it does not go back automatically into law. So Abacus Billing and Accounting pretty much is its own thing, and if you need to make changes in law, you've got to go back into law.
Okay.
Okay. All right, now I know you've got a lot to think about, so Margarita, can I leave it up to you to maybe start putting together our next training? Get questions from everybody?
We have a next training?
Play with it? Well, we can. Why not? I mean, as long as you guys want to, I'm up for it. I don't want you to think that, oh my gosh, this is my last opportunity to ask questions. No, you're just getting started here.
Do you think we can do it once the system is up?
Sure, definitely. You know, I'd like to get the APX at least the sample Abacus Exchange thingy, the credit card ACH thing. Get it so I can have a pretend person and a pretend credit card and a pretend ACH and play with it a little bit. You know, I play with it, you play with it. I think that would be a good thing. So that's my next step, is to get that running on my end so that I can share that with you guys.
So can you let me know once that has been adjusted? I would like to do something like where we can also do it on our end with you at the same time. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be good if you guys can type stuff in. Watching me do it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we want to play with the system along with you. So can you just let me know once that credit card ACH option is available so we can set up a training again?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. All right, and you're going to send me the cash receipt report that you're looking at, that you have.
I sent it to
Like
you.
Abacus, do that.
I sent it to you already. I don't know if you got it.
Okay, I'm on a different server, so I can't get at my email right now. But yeah, I'll go look for that as well. I'll get that over to them on Friday, so they have something to look forward to working on next week.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be back